Hey guys, this is Garrison, or as you probably know me as Jay Conner. So I'm back today with one of my old games, The Lost Caverns of the Wolf Demons. It's actually kind of fitting because I actually made this game about about 5 years ago. This came out in October of 2018. So yeah, this game's now 5 years old. So it's kind of fitting actually that I look at this game. I just posted this on GameJolt, but so yeah, again, this is one of my old games. Sort of has a bit of history to it, but one thing you can see here, it says created by Garrison Dev. This was what I was known by back then. I was still using a J Conner name back then, but for some reason I decided to use a different username, even though the account I posted on was still called J Conner. Yeah, I originally posted this on Congregate. This was the first game I've ever posted to Congregate, I believe. But the first game I've made in general was Maze Man. This is my second one, my second game, and Maze Man got ported like a few days later. I originally posted Maze Man like on a separate GameJolt account, so we have a bit of a story description on the title screen here. Story: your friend went to explore a hidden cave. However, your friend has not returned. So you grab a torch and go into the cave to find your friend. Uh, I think someone pointed out a spelling here. Right here where I say grabbed. I think it was meant to be like past tense, so grabbed, because yeah, it kind of makes sense. You know, you're already in the cave, so you would have gotten the torch in the past. Uh, so anyway, this game uses the mouse for the menus in the game. Here, I'll just start the game. In the game, but the game otherwise uses the arrow keys, so I'm kind of surprised I didn't bother. Well, I guess I'm not surprised since it's one of my earlier games, uh, okay. So yeah, as you can kind of see here, uh, oh yeah. If I had to go back to what I was saying about the menus, wait, that's I wouldn't say that's not a good design to do to begin with, and um, it's because okay, I need to turn on the volume here. This is kind of getting annoying here. As you can kind of see, the game has some ambient noises and which were just random sound effects I got from I got from what was the website called? It was like was it BTXR or something like that. It's where I get sound effects for a lot of my games. Basically, it generates random sound effects essentially. But yeah, it's generally not a good idea to have to use a mouse on the menus, especially if the rest of your game is just controlled only by the keyboard, because it's not really consistent design. But as you can kind of see here, well, first thing you notice is that the game doesn't look very good. And let me just get this out of the way. This is not a very good game. I'm not sure if this is worse than Maze Man or better than Maze Man. Maze Man was a pretty bad game in my opinion. It's not the worst game I've ever made without a doubt. That goes to Gotchi. But anyway, as you can see here, we have a rat here, and he's able to kill you. Despite the fact that you can just easily step on him. Uh, it's probably a poisonous rat, I guess. I don't know, but one thing I kind of want to point out here is that well, first off, this game isn't very long. It's only like 4 levels. Most of them are short here, and we get to the flag here to finish a level. Alright, and we get a bit of story here. As you continue your search for your missing friend, you notice this note on the wall. The image appears to be a rough drawing of a wolf-like being holding a stick. There also appears to be blood on the note. Uh, Beware the wolf demons and their leader. Even with this warning, you continue forward. Alright, and one thing I kind of want to point out, and I mentioned this like in the description on my website. My website is going to go down the next year, by the way, but that's why I'm pouring all my games to GameJolt. But one thing I want to note is that I was actually kind of inspired by a Yogscast video. It was a Minecraft custom map let's play. The map was called Jackal in the Cave, and I just took inspiration from that for this game. And one thing I kind of want to point out here is that uh, My God, I just lost my train of thought here. Is that uh, oh my God, what was I going to say then? Was that okay? So we're going to keep going down here, down this cave, and one thing you also might notice about the enemies is that they seem to stop and randomly change direction. That's because I tried to program random behavior because apparently I was like studying Halo's AI at the time, and for some reason when I developed this, I thought that random AI automatically equals a better game. I was not very experienced, but oh yeah, I just remember what I was going to say here. So actually, I one time went to Kosai actually, and they were like mean. Oh, these are the wolf demons, by the way. Pretty intimidating. Uh, but I meant like, but Coast Guard was like having like this developer like expo or something where like a bunch of indie devs came in. And I met these people. I believe they were called Hand Sketch Games. That was the name of their company, and and they showed me the games. And I remember kind of being inspired by some of their efforts. It's kind of what even got me back into game development after Maze Man because I remember I went on a bit of a hiatus after Maze Man, mainly because I was developing some like really ambitious game that that for someone who's like barely made any games, was totally a great idea to take on. But I digress. Anyway, also this level is like by far the longest in the game. It's really annoying to die on it because there's no checkpoint. So whenever you die, you restart the level. Also, I noticed there's a bit of there's some I don't know what to say here, but it looks like the background keeps going a little bit despite the wall being the border there. You can see it on the bottom a little bit, right? And we found another note. You found another note about the wolf demons. The drawing appears to show a wolf demon holding a stick with someone's arm. You did encounter some wolf demons, but you decided to keep moving on. However, your torch is running low, and the note just says they are brutal. So anyway, I met the people, I believe they were called Hand Sketch Games, and they showed me some of their games they were making for Android. And this game was also partially inspired by one of their games. I forgot what it was called, but like you were just on a mountain or something like that. And it was a very short platforming game. And another one, and the other game they made was like some RPG clicker game where like you move around, getting random battles, and you defeat enemies just by clicking on them. Kind of like Cookie Clicker basically. But yeah, so I was inspired by those guys as well. And originally this was actually going to get ported to Android, but I found but okay. So this next part is something I'm not quite sure on exactly, but I made when I first used GameMaker. Apparently HTML wasn't very good. When I tried pouring Maze Man into HTML, it didn't work. So I just published it as a desktop game. But then apparently, I guess sometime between Maze Man and this game, they fixed it. But I'm not sure if it was really broken to begin with. I recall it called GameMaker's HTML compiler not working that well, but here it worked a lot better. And as you can also see here, oh yeah, and by the way, I use GameMaker just like all my other games, but as you can see here, there's a light source here. It doesn't work very well. I believe I just looked up the tutorial, and apparently I believe it didn't even work on desktop, I don't think, but what it was that like I actually used GameMaker Studio 1.4 rather than GameMaker Studio 2 at the time. What I would do is I would just make this in GameMaker 1 and then import into GameMaker 2. And I believe desktop on GameMaker 2 ran into issues. It's because I believe this is just simply an outdated version of shading and lighting going on here. The one I use in Infection Roots is different. There I use like GPU blend, and I believe it's just that one's just a lot easier to use than whatever I implement it here. But anyway, we're at the end of this level already, And I just said I don't feel like writing the plot anymore, so next level. Yes, I'm lazy. This was my idea of humor back then, basically. I remember I kind of did something similar with Super Cube Game 1, the original version, where I just said there isn't much story, just like all my other games, but yeah. Wolf Demon Leader awaits. So we're at the final level already, and here we go. So, I mean, like I said, this is a bad game, but it's one of my first games, so I'm like, so it's like kind of one of those, I guess, where you expect kind of things, you know. Uh, but I would say like even the original version of Super Cube Game 1 was a lot better than this. But so here we go. Here's the final boss, and he's staying still. His AI is just the same as the other wolf demons. He just takes 3 hits to kill, but otherwise he's the same as just a regular wolf demon. So anyway, that's the end of the game. So here's the ending. Wow, you managed to kill the wolf demon's leader and save your friend. However, you realize you don't have the supplies to get out of the cave, so you're kind of stuck down here, and that's very sad. Will you get out? Maybe in an unlikely sequel. The end. And there we go. Created, design, and program by Garrison Dev. Thank you for playing. Well, thanks for playing. Yeah, so I just kind of feel like giving this game sort of a bad ending, pretty much. I mean, only a sequel does kind of far around my mind, but if I was to make a sequel, it would be drastically different than this. Like, I thought about maybe making sort of like a 2D shooting game like Plasma Burst or something like that, but I haven't really got around to doing any of that anytime soon, and it's kind of it's like an idea that just came to me a few years ago, and it kind of just got put aside as other projects showed up. So yeah, clicking main menu just takes us back to the menu here, and there was actually a bug when I originally published this on Congregate. You won't find the bug in here, but if I was to make my way to the end of the level, uh, okay, so let me just get to the end here. The flag would actually not like take you to the next level. It was due to the way I programmed level transitions, and apparently I didn't understand how to do room transitions back then. I didn't know about room go to next. I just simply used room go to and or something like that. But so yeah, this game, like I said, this game does not look very good at all. Uh, Art has never exactly been my strong suit, but I at least think I'm a little better than this now. In fact, I'm probably a lot better than what I was back then when it came to game design, at least. Uh, this game did not get good reviews when it came out. I think like on Congregate it got like a 2.2 or something like that. And when I ported it to Newgrounds, it didn't do much better. And I think like no one itch even cared about the. Yep, I died there. Cared about the game, so I mean, I'm glad I made it. You know, it's one of those like you kind of when you start making games, you're always going to make bad games when you start out, and yeah, I mean, I guess like out of oh my, actually maybe I might go as far as say this is maybe a little better than Maze Man. Maze Man, and with that, it's probably like my second best Conquer game I've made. The best one was Super Q Game 1, and the third best slash second worst was Maze Man, and again the worst one was Gotchi. So anyway, I think that's all I really want to say about this game. And I'm just kind of starting to ramble on at this point. So I'll see you guys next time.